Hello students, welcome to our polity class series. In this class, we will discuss about the part 12th of Indian Constitution. The title of part 12th is Finance, Property, Contract and Suits. So in this class, we will discuss about the funds of the government of India. We will deal the matters related to finance between center and states. What are the authorities of central government to distribute taxes or to collect taxes, and same as for state government also. We will discuss about the property, the contract, also article 300A, which generally deal with the right to property as a legal right. So here are articles related to the finance, property, contracts and suits are between 264 to 300A. So in the part 12, we have to deal the article between 264 to 300A. And the title of the part 12 is Finance, Property, Contract and Suit. Clear? Previously, we have discussed part 11th of Indian Constitution. Now let's start the part 12th. In the part 12, the chapter 1 is finance. In this chapter, we will discuss about completely the finance. So let's start with the article 264. What does article 264 says? Basically, this article explains the definition of the finance, also the interpretation of the terms used in this chapter. So interpretation means the terms which are used in chapter 1 or the meaning of these terms are explained under article 264. So article 264 explain about the title and the meaning of the terms. Article 265 says that who has authority, who can collect tax. Means if a person who do not have authority, that he cannot collect tax. The taxes not to be imposed saved by the authority of law. No tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law. Means any tax cannot be collected by without any authority of law. If a person has authority of law, he or she can collect the tax only. Article 266 deal with the consolidated fund, public account of India and of the state also. Okay, let's quick understand what is consolidated fund of India. Basically, consolidated fund meaning. Consolidated fund of India are those funds which are explained in under Article 66. Basically, it deal with all the revenue and expenditure of the government. We all do pay tax. This tax is saved in consolidated fund and contingency fund. So there are two types of fund in the center government: consolidated fund and contingency fund. All the taxes are saved, all the revenue and expenditure are saved in the consolidated fund of India and contingency fund of India. Now, what is the difference between consolidated fund and contingency fund of India? Consolidated fund of India, if government want to basically withdraw or issue money, then only parliament has power. Through money bill or finance bill, parliament can withdraw amount from consolidated fund of India. Means the bill will be passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and finally president has to sign. But in contingency fund is also known as emergency fund, and President of India has power to basically withdraw money from or to issue money from contingency fund. So there is a slightly different between consolidated fund and contingency fund. Contingency fund is an emergency fund where President of India can withdraw amount. Consolidated fund, Parliament can withdraw amount. So all revenue received by the government of India, all loan raised by the government of India by the issue of treasury bills, loan or way and mean advance, and all money received by the government in repayment of loan shall form one consolidated fund to entitle the consolidated fund of India. Mean all the taxes, all the loans are deposited in the consolidated fund. So we can say this is the main account of the central government of India. All the public money received by or on behalf of the government of India shall credit to the public account of India. So all the public money received by or on behalf of government of India are credit to the public account of India. So public account is a part of consolidated fund of India. Similarly, separate consolidated fund and public account exist for each state. Mean for center government have consolidated fund and public account of India. Same as state government has consolidated fund and public account of state, and this is mentioned under Article 266. So we are dealing part 12th of Indian Constitution. In this part, we will discuss first finance, then property, contract and suit under Article 264 to 300A. The chapter 1 is related to finance. In this chapter, we have discussed 3 articles: 264, 265, 266. Article 265 4 explain about the definition. 265 taxes not to be imposed save by the authority of India only, and 266 explain about the consolidated fund and public account for India and state both, for center and state both. Clear? Okay. So let's move to our next section, which is section 2, Article 267. As I told you, they are majorly 2 accounts. First is consolidated account and second is contingency account. Contingency, president can basically establish a contingency account, or basically for unforeseen expenditure or for emergency. So contingency is a type of emergency fund. So president may by law establish a contingency fund for India, into which money shall be paid from time to time as required, which shall be at the disposal of the president to meet unforeseen expenditure. Similarly, there is a contingency fund for the state where governor has power, he can operate the contingency fund. So 267 explain about the contingency fund of center and state both. Next is Article 268. What does Article 268 says? Article 268 explains that the duties levied by the union but collected and appropriate by the center government. Means the article provides that certain duties shall be levied by the government of India but shall be collected and appropriate by the states. Clear? So these duties are imposed by the central government, but these are collected and appropriate by the state governments. Also 269 explains that the taxes levied and collected by the union but assigned to the state. This article lists the taxes which are levied and collected by the government of India, but these taxes are assigned by the states. So in 268 is explained that duties levied by the union and collected by the states, and 269 explained taxes levied and collected by the union, but these taxes are assigned to the state government only. There is also Article 69A, which is related to GST. It says leave and collection of a good and service tax in course of interstate trade or commerce. This article basically provides for the leave and collection of GST. So it is related to GST and the supply of between interstate trade or commerce. Clear? So what we have discussed in this slide we have discussed contingency fund of India. Contingency fund of India under Article 67. What is contingency fund? It is an emergency fund through which president and governor has power to operate. They can withdraw money during the time of emergency. 269 explain that some duties which are levied by the union, but these are collected by the state government. And 269 says some duties, some taxes which are levied and collected by the union, and they are assigned to the state government only. And 69A related to GST, that the levy and collection of GST on supply in the course of interstate trade of commerce. If there is a interstate trade on commerce, then how GST will be collected and will be levied, it is mentioned in 269A. Clear? 270. Here we have to discuss 5 articles. Article 270, Article 271, Article 273, Article 274 and Article 275. What is Article 270? Article 270 explains that taxes levied and distributed between the union and state. So let's suppose if there is a CGST. CGST means, let's suppose it is a SGST, State Goods and Service Tax. Mean if a product is sold by any state government and there is a 18% GST of it, the 9% is distributed to state and 9% is distributed to the center. So 270 explain that this article provides for the distribution of certain taxes collected by the government of India between the union and states. So it's explain the distribution of the taxes between state and union. Next, Article 271. Article 271 explains surcharge on certain duties and taxes for purpose of the union. The article empower parliament to leave a surcharge on certain duties and taxes of a union purposes. So basically parliament has power who can basically leave a surcharge on certain duties and taxes for the union purposes. Clear? Article 273 grants in lieu of export duties on jute and jute production. So basically government will provide grants on the export duty on jute and jute production. Mean if a person wants to export jutes and the product related to jute, then government will provide the grants. So basic grants to certain states in lieu of the jute export duty on jute and jute production. 274 prior recommendation of the president required to bill affecting taxation is which state are interested. What does it mean? It says that no bill or recommendation which impose or varies any tax or duty in which state are interested or which affected the principle on which money are distributed to the states shall be introduced or moved in either of the house parliament except on the recommendation of the president. If there is a bill who is affecting taxation in which state are interested, or if there is a bill started by any state which are interested affected the taxation system, that prior recommendation of the president is required before it is passing in the parliament. Article 275 grant from the union to certain states. This provide grant in aid from the union to certain states which needed assistance. Mean through if central government through his collection of taxes can provide grants to the state government if any state government need any grant. So 270 explain about the distribution of the tax between the union and the state and taxes levied who will collect the tax from which department. 271 surcharge on certain duties and taxes for the purpose of the union. 273 provide the grants for the on the export duty on jute or jute product. 274 it is required to give assent or recommendation to the president if there is a bill who is affecting taxation passing in the state government by the state government, and also union government central government with provided grant to the certain special states which are required or which needed assistance. Next is Article 276, 277, 278, 279 and 279A. What does Article 276 says? It's taxes on profession, trades, calling and employment. This article allows states to impose taxes on professions, trades, callings and employment. Means there are lots of taxes if you are a working employee, if you are trading, if you are in a particular profession, you have to pay income tax and different type of taxes or GST. So Article 276 deal on the taxes that the state government will impose taxes on the professions, on the trade, on the callings and the employment also. Clear? Next is Article 277. It is dealing with the saving any taxes, duties, session or fees which immediately before the commencement of this constitution were being lawfully levied by any municipality or other local authorities or body for the purpose of the state shall continue to be levied and applied for those purpose now standing. Those taxes, duties, seizing or the fees are mentioned in the union list. Simply, the meaning of Article 27 authorize the continued leave of the taxes lawfully, basically levied by the government of the state before the commencement of the constitution and their application to the same purpose as before. Clear? Okay. Next is Article 278. Nowadays, Article 278 is repealed, but Article 278 of the Indian Constitution pertain to an agreement between the central government and certain states in regarding to the certain financial matters such as allocation of funds, such as taxes, between the central and the state government. Also, it deal with the part B of Schedule First. We discussed that in 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956, the Part 7 of Indian Constitution was removed, and it was dealing with the Part B state, means the princely state. As we dissolved princely state from India, so we also removed Part 7. So Article 278 was dealing with the distribution of taxes between the Part B of the state. As we removed the princely states, so we also repealed the Article 278 of Indian Constitution. Article 279 explain the calculation of net proceed, etc. This article provide for the calculation of net proceed of any tax or duties for the certification of such process by the Comptroller and Audit General of India. Means the net proceeding of the taxes will be calculated by the Comptroller and Audit General of India according to Article 279. Clear? Article 279A, we also discussed in the GST that it is explaining about the GST Tax Council, which is known as Goods and Service Tax Council. So Article 279A says that there should be a GST Council of 33 members who will deal the GST related issues in the India. So under 279A, there is a GST Council which was established in September 2016, and there is a total 33 members of the GST Council, from which 2 members are from the center, 31 members are from the 28 states, and 3 members are from the Union Territories legislature. So 279A explaining the GST Council, it said that there should be a GST Council, Goods and Service Tax Council. The GST Council deal all the issues related to the GST in India, and it is a 33 members body which was established in September 2016 by the President of India, and head of the GST Council will be the Finance Minister of India. Clear? Next is Article 280. Article 280 explain the Finance Commission of India. So in this chapter, we will also discuss the Finance Commission of India. So this article mandate the president to constitute a finance commission as the expiry of every 5th year, as such earlier time as the president consider necessary. So we have to discuss Finance Commission of India under Article 280. Okay. The first Finance Commission was established in 1950 or 1951 under the leadership of K.C. Niyogi. So K.C. Niyogi was the first Finance Commissioner of India. This is a basically 3 members team Finance Commissioner, or sometimes 5 members team. Article 280 explain about the Finance Commissioner of India. Under Article 280, a person who have knowledge related to the finance as well as the law can be appointed as the Finance Commission of India by the President of India. So who appoint Finance Commission? President can appoint the Finance Commission of India for the tenure of 5 years. So every 5 years, a Finance Commission of India can be appointed by the President of India. The first Finance Commission was the K.C. Niyogi. Finance Commission recommended the Planning Commission, and after the recommendation of Finance Commission, Planning Commission was set up in India in 1951, which started 5-year plans in India. Recently, there is a 16th Finance Commission who was recently constituted by the President of India, and the head of 16th Finance Commission is Arvind Pangadia. Finance Commissioner responsible for the financial growth in India. He is directly appointed by the President. He can be removed by the Parliament of India, means bill will be passed by the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and President will sign, then only Finance Commission of India can be removed. He can submit his resign to the President. The tenure is fixed for 5 years. Also, Finance Commission of India can participate in the session of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha but without a right to vote. Same as Comptroller Audit General, Attorney General, and Advocate General of India. Clear? Next is Article 281, recommendation of the Financial Commission. The recommendation made by the Financial Commission together with the exemplary memorandums as to action taken shall be laid before each house the parliament. Matlab, it is necessary to take the recommendation of the Finance Commission to grow the India. 282, expenditure by the union or a state out of its revenue to explain that the union or a state may make any grant for any public purpose, that the purpose is not one of the respect to which parliament or the state legislature, as the case may be, may make laws. 283, explain the custody of consolidated fund, contingency fund, money credit to the public account. Basically, it provide the custody of the consolidated fund of India and contingency fund of India of the center and government both, and the public account of India and the public account of the each state to the basically Comptroller Audit General of India. And these custodies are provided to audit the reports and audit the revenue and expenditure of the government. And Article 284, custody of the suits, is provide the custody of the money received by the public servants and courts in the connection with the affair of union or of a state. What is suits? If a money is received by the public servant, like if police officer receiving the fine, or if courts are receiving the fine, so this is the money which are received by the public servant in court in connection with the affair of state and union government. So it explains the custody related to the suits. Done. So Article 280 explain the Finance Commission. There is a Finance Commission, or recently 16 Finance Commission under the leadership of Arvind Padgadia was established. 281 explain the recommendation of Finance Commission. 282 basically union and states of its revenue. 283 custody of all the accounts, and 284 custody of suits. 285 exemptions of the property of the union from the state taxation. The property of the union shall, unless parliament otherwise provide, be exempted from all taxes imposed by the state or by any authority within the states. Restriction as to impose of tax on the sale on purchase of goods. Article 286 explains that some restrictions as to imposition of the tax on sale purchase of some specific types of goods. This article places restriction on the imposition of tax on the sale or purchase of goods where such sale or purchase take place in course of interstate trade or commerce or outside the state. Clear? So it's basically provide the restrictions as to imposition of the tax on the sale or purchase of the goods. Article 287, exemption from the taxes on electricity. No law of a state shall impose or authorize the imposition of a tax on the consumption of sale of electricity, whether produced by the government of India or other person. If a person is producing electricity, whether it is produced by the government of India or whether it is produced by the any individual or authority, the government cannot impose taxes on the production or sale of the or consumption also on the electricity. Okay, next 288 is exemption from the taxation by the state in respect of water or electricity in certain cases. So it's explained the exemption from the taxation by the state in respect of waters or electricity in certain cases. Now 289. 289 article explain the exemption of property and income of a state from union taxation. The property and income of a state shall be exempt from union taxation, except to the extent parliament may by law otherwise provided. It means if there is a property and income of the state government, then central government cannot impose tax. Only central government can impose tax when a law is made by the Parliament of India. Clear? Next is Article 290. Article 290, adjustment in respect of certain expenses and pensions. The article provides for the adjustment of expenses and pension between the union and state. So it is dealing with the adjustment of the expenses and the pensions between state and center. Article 298 was later added and it is explaining the annual payment related to the Davis-Vaughan funds. So Article 298 it is added by the amendment and it explains the Davis-Vaughan fund. Clear? Davis-Vaughan. What are Davis-Vaughan funds? Davis-Vaughan funds are those funds which are related to the or belonging to the goats. Means those funds which are released to the social religious development in India. These funds are known. Let's suppose if government is basically establishing a mosque or establishing a temple, then the government provide the fund which is known as Davis-Vaughan funds. 292, borrowing by the government of India. The executive power of union extend to borrowing upon the securities of the consolidated fund of India within such limit as may from time to time by which is fixed by the parliament by the law. So it is explaining the borrowing feature of the government of India, that it can borrow in a limit which is fixed by the parliament time to time. Clear? So Article 292 explaining about borrowing by the government of India, and 293 same as borrowing by the state. The state cannot borrow any basically consolidated fund securities more than the limit which are fixed by the state legislature. The state legislature can fix the securities of the consolidated fund, borrowing upon the securities of the consolidated fund for state by time to time. This was the chapter first we have discussed till Article 293. Now we have to discuss chapter 2 of part 12 of Indian Constitution, which is related to the borrowing feature. So in this chapter we will discuss about 294, which explain the succession to the property, assets, rights, liabilities and obligation in the certain cases. This article provide for the succession of the property, succession of the assets, rights and liabilities and obligations from the dominion of India to the union or a state as the case may be related to. Article 295, it explains succession through the properties, assets, rights, liabilities and obligation in other cases. So this article provides for the succession of the properties, assets, rights, liabilities and obligations in other cases. Article 296 explains the property acquiring by the deceased or lapse on a bona vicenta. Basically, it explains that the subject are hereinafter provided any property in a state acquiring to the union by deceased or lapse or as a bona vacanta. What are bona vacanta? Bona vacanta are those which are unowned property. So it is explaining the property acquiring. If there is a property who is unowned property, then what are the rule for this unhonored property? Who will own this? Who will acquire this? Clear? And 279, things of value within territory, water or continental shelf and resources of the exclusive economical zone to west in the union. Means all lands, all minerals and other things of value underlying the ocean within the territory water of the continental shelf of India shall vest in the union government only and held for the purpose of the union only. In the last four important articles are power to carry on trade. The executive power of the union and each state shall extend to the carrying on of any trade or business and to existing holding and disposable of the property and making of the contract for any purpose. So Article 298 explain about the power to carry on trades. Article 299 explain about all the contracts. So what the article basically is deal all contracts made in exercise of the executive power of the union shall be expressed to the made in the name of the president. If there is a contract which is made by the union government shall be made by the name of the president only, not by the prime minister. So all contract made in exercise of the executive power expressed by made by the president, or if that is for a state, then it is made by the name of the governor of the state, as the case may be, and all such contract of and all assurance of the property made in exercise of that power shall be executed on the behalf of the president and the governor only. An attorney general and advocate general will represent president and governor in this scenario. Article 300 explains suits and proceeding. The government of India may sue or be sued by the name of the Union of India, and government of a state may sue or be sued by the name of the state, subject to any provision that made by the act of parliament of the state legislature. Means central government are sued by the name of the union government, and state government are sued by the name of the state. And Article 300A explain about the right to property, that no person shall be deprived of his property save by the authority of law. Article 300A was added under 44th Amendment Act 1978. In this 44th Amendment Act 1978, right to property was removed as a fundamental right, and it was added under Article 300A as a legal right. The 300A was added under Article 40 under the amendment of 44th 1978. It was previously a fundamental right. Laterly, the fundamental right under Article 31 was removed, and it was shifted or added to Article 300A as a legal right. So this is the part 12 of Indian Constitution we have discussed, which is related to the finance. In this chapter, we will discuss the consolidated fund, the division of the finance, GSTs, like suits, or also we have discussed the contracts, properties, as well as the Property Act. So I hope you understand this session. Thank you.